In the stillness of dawn, when the world is not yet fully awake, and the first rays of sunlight begin to kiss the tops of ancient pines, there lies a monastery older than memory. The scent of incense hangs in the air, like invisible threads, tying the heart to something greater. Here begins a story, not only of illness but of the quiet, unseen power inside each of us. Have you ever asked yourself why some people, though gravely ill, find their way back to life, while others, facing milder conditions, give up hope too soon? In this era of fast medicine and quicker pills, we often forget that our minds, our deepest selves, may be the first and final medicine we need. Master Ko was no ordinary monk, with a long white beard, eyes that had seen many seasons, and a voice as soft as falling rain. He lived not only in the monastery, but in the hearts of those who came to him. He didn't promise miracles. Instead, he offered a path, an inward one. One day, a young woman named Hannah arrived, her body weak, her spirit frayed, but something inside her still burned, a will, a question. He told Hannah about a wounded tiger he once saw, licking its wound day after day, hidden among the rocks. No fear, no questions, only presence. The human mind is louder and often forgets to listen to the body. For days, Hannah sat in silence, observing her breath. At first, frustration came, her mind jumped like a monkey. But slowly, with Master Ko's guidance, she began to feel her pain, not as punishment, but as a message. Healing, said Master Ko, is not about fighting sickness. Fighting is the opposite of listening. Instead, he taught Hannah to meditate. Close your eyes, listen to where it hurts, ask it gently what it needs. In time, Hannah learned to name the whispers of her body. Fatigue, anger, sadness, they became familiar visitors, and in naming them, she slowly reclaimed her strength. One night, under a silver moon, she whispered. For days, Hannah continued to sit in silence under the guidance of Master Ko. Each day, she felt the weight of her illness pressing on her. But there was something else, something subtle, whispering to her, change is coming. It was a small voice, but one that was impossible to ignore. A quiet assurance that healing didn't begin with the body, but with the mind. In the cool of the early morning, as the sun stretched its golden fingers across the sky, Master Ko spoke again. His voice was quieter than before, as if the very air around them held its breath in anticipation. He reminded Hannah that healing begins with awareness. His gaze lingered on her, not just seeing the pain she carried, but also the strength hidden beneath it. Though doubt still clouded her thoughts, Hannah nodded slowly. Could it really be that simple? Master Ko explained that the first step to healing was learning to understand the body's signals. He described the body like a garden, one that speaks in silence, pointing out where the weeds have taken root and where the flowers need more care. Hannah sat with that image for a long time, letting it take shape in her mind. What if the pain she felt wasn't punishment but a signal? A message? So she began to listen. At first, it was difficult. Her mind wandered constantly, pulled back again and again by pain, weakness, and fear. But over time, something changed. The pain was no longer a sharp scream. It softened into a quiet hum, a subtle rhythm that rose and fell with her breath. And as she became more attuned to it, she found herself wondering, what is this pain trying to tell me? One evening, as she meditated by the side of a peaceful lake, the answer came to her. She needed to forgive, not just others but herself, and the pain she had been carrying for so long. She realized that her body wasn't the enemy, it was her ally. It had carried her through so much already, and it would continue to do so, but only if she treated it with the kindness it deserved. Master Ko, sensing the shift in her energy, smiled. He knew she had begun the true journey. The next step, he explained, was understanding self-love, a step far more difficult than it appeared. When we are ill, he reminded her, we often turn against ourselves. We blame the body, curse it for failing us. But healing begins when we accept ourselves fully in all our imperfection. Only then can we create space for recovery to take root from within. Hannah didn't need to say anything. A quiet warmth had already begun to spread through her, like the first rays of sunlight after a long winter. She was ready now to love her body not as something broken to be fixed, but as a partner in her journey. In the days that followed, Master Ko introduced her to the art of visualization. He taught her to imagine herself healthy, to see the illness dissolving like snow beneath the morning sun. The mind, he said, held a power greater than most believed, one capable of healing the body, but only if one truly believed it was possible. For the next few weeks, Hannah devoted herself fully. Each day, she meditated in silence, listened to her body, forgave her past, and visualized her recovery. Each night before sleep, she imagined the illness fading, little by little, and each morning, she awoke with a bit more energy and a growing sense of peace in her heart. One evening, as the sun melted into a blaze of orange and purple, Hannah stood once more by the lake. Her body felt stronger than it had in months. She closed her eyes, and for the first time in a long while, she didn't feel the weight of her illness. She felt light, free. Though the sickness had not vanished completely, something far more important had changed. Her mind had healed her heart, and through her heart, her body had begun to heal. Master Ko watched from a distance, his eyes quiet with pride. He knew she had learned the most important lesson of all, that to heal, one must first believe that healing is possible. And in that moment, Hannah understood. Healing was not a destination, but a journey, a path she would walk for the rest of her life. And with every breath, every thought, every small act of love toward herself, she would continue to heal one step at a time. As days turned into weeks, Hannah's journey of healing deepened. Her mind, once a chaotic storm of worries, had become a serene ocean, calm, clear, and receptive. Master Ko's teachings were no longer just words. They had become a quiet rhythm in her life, guiding her step by step. Each morning, Hannah would rise early and walk to the small meditation garden at the edge of the monastery. There, beneath the gentle sway of a willow tree, she would close her eyes and let her breath carry her inward toward stillness. The aches of her body, the discomfort, the fear, slowly began to fade as she learned to truly listen. She remembered what Master Ko had once told her. Healing begins the moment we stop resisting what is. Pain, he had said, is not an enemy, it is a messenger. And when we accept it, it reveals the lesson it carries. Hannah began to accept the signals her body sent. Rather than push the pain away, she leaned into it, gently, curiously. In that softness, the pain changed. It became a guide, pointing her toward the places that needed more love, more rest, more patience. One day, as she sat quietly in the garden, she recalled another teaching. The mind is the body's greatest ally. When one truly believes in their own healing, everything else begins to align. With those words held gently in her heart, Hannah began to visualize her healing. She pictured herself strong and vibrant, her body filled with light and energy. She imagined the illness dissolving, replaced by a quiet glow of peace and vitality. At first, the transformation was subtle, like the slow unfolding of a flower in early spring. But with each passing day, she could feel the difference. Her body, once a source of struggle, now felt like a temple. It was no longer something broken to fix, but something sacred to nourish. A vessel not only of survival, but of growth and renewal. And then, one quiet evening, after nearly a month of daily practice, Hannah felt something shift. It was as though a weight she hadn't fully known she carried had finally lifted. She stood up from her place beneath the tree, took a long, deep breath, and felt a stillness unlike any before. For the first time in what felt like forever, she felt truly free. As Hannah's health continued to improve, something deeper began to unfold within her. It wasn't just her body that was healing. It was her entire being. The journey she had started with Master Ko was no longer only about overcoming illness, but about understanding herself on a more profound level. Master Ko often spoke of the power of self-reflection. To him, true healing wasn't about fixing what was broken, but about tracing the pain to its roots and learning what it had come to teach. Hannah carried these words with her, letting them settle into the quiet spaces of her mind. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, she sat beside Master Ko on the monastery steps. They didn't speak at first. The silence between them was soft and comfortable, a shared presence more powerful than words. And in that stillness, a quiet truth emerged. Healing, she had come to understand, was not limited to the body. It reached into the mind, the soul, the spirit. The body was simply the vessel. The real transformation was happening within. She thought back to the early days, when she had tried to resist the pain, to run from it. But the pain had never been the enemy. It was a signal, pointing to places within her that had been neglected, forgotten, or broken. By listening to it, By embracing it, she had discovered a deeper strength she hadn't known she possessed. Healing was no longer a destination she hoped to reach. It had become a journey she was willing to walk, a process of unfolding, of understanding, of coming home to herself. From that point on, Hannah no longer saw illness as something to fear. Each new challenge, each discomfort became an invitation to go deeper, to grow, to reconnect with her own truth. She was not just surviving anymore, she was awakening. As the moon rose high and bathed the monastery in silver light, Hannah stood quietly. Her heart was filled with peace, not because the path ahead would be easy, but because she finally felt ready to walk it. With courage, with grace, and with a deep trust in her own strength.